Hey, hey.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Well, that's that. Here we go.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confession. Look what it looks like on the chat when you guys spam fucking Bert. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Before we get started, if you want to help out the show and support it, relieve some of the stress of paying for the thing, you can do that at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. We greatly appreciate that. That's this website. It has all my links as well to use if you want to follow me on other platforms, just in case the platform that you're following me on right now I'm not on sometime. At least you get an update, including our Discord. We've been moving from Telegram to Discord, and it's starting to pick up pace. There was a time when we were on Telegram. We had the Discord first, then we went to Telegram, and there was a time when we were on Telegram, nobody posted in the Discord for like weeks on end. But it's starting to pick up a little bit. I prefer Discord to Telegram, and you don't have to worry about all the crazy Q-tards over on Discord. Have a little room for everything you want to talk about. So check out our Discord link. I've also got Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, TikTok, and Rumble. If you're interested in all those. Rumble, not a lot of people watch on Rumble, but it's kind of a guarantee they won't take my show down, right? It's a good repository for videos. There has been quite a bit going on lately. Some pretty interesting stuff from the Trump administration. We're going to get into that later. We've got the, so you basically got all the bases covered. Yeah. I wish I never would have. I left Discord because they were like rumors of like, that Microsoft was going to buy and start banning people for, I don't know. And that was when I was still like on a right-wing kick, and that was like a right-wing conspiracy. And then we went to Telegram because at the time I was covering these, QAnon people. And that's where they congregated at, was the QAnon people in these groups. So I went there, and I told people, I was like, you don't have to make an account, but I'm going to be there to like spy on these people, basically, to see what they're talking about, because they got these groups and stuff. But then we started pulling people away from those shows to my show. And, of course, they wanted to interact with Telegram and shit. I don't know. I wish I would have just stayed with Discord. Our Discord would be so much bigger now had we just stayed with Discord. But we didn't. Live and you learn, I guess. I've been so fucking stressed out. But that's part of life, I guess. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Speaking of Telegram, check out this crazy. Marty Like Me Now shared this thread. Screenshots, and it's actually from Jordan over on Telegram. He's in our Telegram as well, the Jordan guy. But check this out. Marty says the nonsense these Phildo followers, this is Phil Galuski's followers, go through to believe his cancels. So Phil has now made his millions of dollars, right? He's got homes in Italy and Hawaii and all over the U.S. He's got supercars. He bought a Rolls Royce the other day. Like, he's financially set for life, which was ultimately his goal with lying and telling people he was a secret agent. He worked for Trump and all this shit. It was just to make money. That's why he had all these multi-level marketing things to sign up for and percentages of your 401k he could take. Obviously, his goal was money. He would tell people that he was rich. He invested in Bitcoin when it was like nobody wanted Bitcoin, and he sold it for like, I don't know, $60,000 per Bitcoin. He invested when it was like dirt cheap. He invested like $30,000 in it, like a multi-millionaire. But then every time he has something you could sign up for, he's making money off of it. And he said he was doing that for his followers, right? I'm doing this for you. I just want to help patriots make money. Well, then you don't have to be at the top of the food chain. You could just pick one of your loyal viewers and say, I'm going to make you the top of this MLM, and I'm going to have everybody sign up underneath you. You don't have to be in that, you're getting your $10,000 a week cut. You know what I mean? But anyways, he's made his money now. So there's really nothing holding him to keep doing shows, right? The MLM signups are basically, he's ran through his whole audience. No one, everybody that's heard it is either going to sign up or not sign up. And they've already made those decisions. He's rolled over everybody's 401k, telling them any day now the stock market's going to crash. So you got to roll over your 401k to like gold or silver. Those people are ignoring him now. He's just out of that. Unless he comes with a new product to sell, there's a much left to do. But his followers are still so devout, okay? They will come up with the wildest excuses. When Phil says, hey, I'm tired, going to cancel a show, they can't fathom that, right? They have to come up with, he's on a secret mission, he's doing this, and the deep state will kill him if they knew what he was actually doing. Do you want him to die? Do you want him to die? They can't fathom that. So Jordan goes in there after someone commented, and we'll just read it from there. So someone says, Chris Wilson says, definitely told, is talking about Phil. He was definitely told not to go live or is busy with work. Now work, they think he's a secret white hat double agent hacker guy. So they don't mean like work like his live stream. They don't mean like work like he used to work at Subway. They mean like that he was either told not to go live because the information is too secretive, or he's being a spy against the cabal. He was up and posting earlier, so I don't think it's sleep. We just need to be patient. So he's either being a spy, or Donald Trump told him he couldn't broadcast tonight. Remember, this is the guy that told him, that got him to believe that he was roommates with Ezra Cohen Watnick. And when that guy comes out and says, I don't know who this fool is, he's like, oh yeah, that's part of the plan. I know what you mean. Touch his nose. I got you, Ezra. I mean, you go way back. He also has got him convinced that when he was in CIA summer camp for kids, in the cafeteria, he overheard the plans for the inside job of 9/11. Like, they'll believe anything. But it's to the point now he's fed them so much shit, so much bullshit. He doesn't even have to they'll make up the bullshit themselves. If he says no show or just doesn't show up, he says I'm going to live tomorrow, and tomorrow comes, he doesn't say anything about the show, they'll make up their own theories. He doesn't even have to feed them the bullshit. They're so used to getting the bullshit. It's like if every day you fed your dog, right? The dog food. You went to the cabinet, opened the door, opened the dog food container, got a scoop, and did that for years. And then one day you don't show up home, and so your dog goes over and uses his mouth to open the cabinet, open up the dog food container. He gets a little scoop with his mouth, and then takes it and dumps it in his bowl, puts it all back up, and then eats. He doesn't even have to feed it to him anymore. So listen. Definitely told not to go live or is busy with work. He was up and posting earlier, so I don't think it's sleep. We just need to be patient. So all Jordan says is, I don't understand. So you think he's lying? Why would he have to lie about it? I believe him. Probably just tired. He's probably just tired. With all the travel and family commitments. I'm experiencing that a bit myself these days. Laugh out loud. So he's saying, Phil said he was tired. This guy says, oh no, it's got to be a secret spy moment, or he's doing this, doing that, blah, blah, blah. And all Jordan says is, do you think he's lying about being tired? I don't know. I think he's just tired. I'm tired too. Right? All right, here we go. Chris responds, sometimes the nature of the work that Phil does not give him the luxury to be specific on the reason. Sometimes he just has to provide a reason, whether it's true or not. Only thing that is important is that he can't go live. We really don't need a reason. Okay? So Jordan comes back and says, well, that would be a lie to me. Like if he said he was tired, and it's really because he's on a secret spy mission, that's technically a lie. Phil's also a father and a husband. I have an easier time believing that when he says what he says is the reason actually is the reason. You are right. We don't need a reason, but if one is given, it makes no sense that would not be the truth. Trump's in office and everything is out in the open. That needs to be. Nobody else in this movement has to lie about what they are doing. They just do it. Again, I don't think Phil is lying. Now, this is multiple times. Multiple times he's like, I don't think Phil's lying. He even points out, like, other podcasters that we know are close to Trump, right? They've had Trump on the show, or they're not saying I'm tired from all the weekend travel, but really they're climbing Mount Everest to deliver some secret formula or some shit. Very reasonable responses. It gets crazy in a minute. Chris responds back, you don't get it, and you don't understand the line of work that Phil does. I was just posting for comfort for those that were upset. I'm not going to argue with Phil's intent. If you follow Phil long enough, you'll know. Okay. So this guy seems dead set on it's got to be a secret mission. Phil can't be tired. It's a fucking secret mission. Then this really crazy lady, Katrina, comes on. And Katrina tags Jordan and says, so are undercover police officers, but they keep us safe. Phil is under orders. Do you want him to be executed? Would you rather the cabal come out and know the plan as well? Or maybe it's just a way for him to trap them, trays in this chat that are not paying, that are actually committing a worse crime called cyber theft. That could be a felony. So this is his locals chat where they have to pay to be in it. And they're like, maybe he's just trying to catch these people doing cyber crimes. A felony. Question, do you tell the truth 100% of the time? What if your wife or your husband gain weight? Do you lie to them and tell them that they don't look fat? Do you tell them the truth? Same thing, only this thing with Phil is billions of people. That's your spouse that you lied to about their weight. If he does not do his job, we could all die potentially. Jesus! Forgive all, including your judgment, because the Bible says, judge not. Hit, you shall be judged in the same measure. Pretty crazy. So Jordan comes back and says, he responds to Chris first and says, I have. Things changed. He even said recently things have changed for him as well. Lying about the reason to cancel a live so that we can have comms, which is where they like dissect everything in his life to see if he's sending them a secret message. To see if we can have comms doesn't make sense anymore. I'm on the side of Phil's doing whatever he's doing and living life. We don't need to hear comms from a cancellation comment on Telegram, right? If Phil comes on and says, hey, I'm tired tonight, guys, no show. We don't have to decode it and see how many 17th letters we can add together and get the number 17 or Trump or 45 or 47. That's silly. Then they respond to Katrina. Okay? They respond to Katrina. Jordan I don't know why I wanted to say Justin that last time. Jordan responds to Katrina and says, I don't see the correlation. I also don't think Phil will be executed for canceling a live stream. I'm actually not judging anyone, by the way. I'm the one being judged for believing Phil is telling the truth when he says he's tired. This is not good enough for Katrina. Katrina comes back and says, that is not what I asked you. He also told us he would go live once a week, possibly during the day due to his schedule. At least once a week. Tomorrow will be one full week since he went live. He still has 4 days to go, a lot to be up to his end of the bargain. So apparently once a week to them means once every 11 days or once every 10 days. Now answer my question. Have you lied to anyone before? If you're going to bring God into this topic and a sin, the Bible has a lot to say about judgment. Taking the log out of your own eye before you take the beam out of someone else's eye, you need to be very careful. because we do not pay for the live streams. They are free. What is included in our local subscription does not include any of the lives. I have a question for you. Would you want him to come on and say, guys, look, I'm sorry, but I've got to work. I've got to do some work, and this is what the work is. And then we see him because he told us he appeased us when we lose the war. We're all in FEMA camps, and we see him hanging or see him shot. What about his children? What about his wife? Do you even have a heart? So now we're all in concentration camps, and Phil's being hanged and shot. We have lots of live streams that you can review. I won't be responding again because just with your continual response and judgment, you were sinning. And remember, Father God does not see what the sin is. He just sees the sin. At Phil Godlewski, you get the work done, honey. We're staying in here holding the line for you while you're working. You rest up. Get your work done, and we'll be here ready and waiting for when you need us. We love you and thankful for you. I know at least my little group is, even if this group isn't, which is sad. So she has a whole fanfic going on about it. We're in concentration camps. Phil's been executed, his wife, his kids, everybody. Jordan comes back and says, now remember, Katrina says she's not responding again. She does. Spoiler. Jordan says, all I said was I believe what he said when he canceled. You were bringing the rest up. I actually don't have a response. Like Phil, I'm busy. Too busy to go back and forth about things I didn't say. I didn't judge anybody. I didn't call out anyone's faith. I simply acknowledged what Phil said and believe him. He said he was tired. I believe he's tired. Katrina, still avoiding the questions. You said he lied. No, he didn't. If we go back to the first one, he's saying, are you calling Phil a liar? He said he was tired. What makes you think he's running around the globe being a spy? You said he lied. He did say he was busy. He said he was trying to get caught up. If that's all you need him to say, he said it. So in a discussion. But don't call the man a liar like you've never lied before. We're better than this. We're supposed to be patriots, right? RZ says, let it go. Stop beating a dead horse. Jordan comes back and says, what I said was that if you don't believe what he said, then then he's lying. You're saying he's lying. I chose to believe what he said. Never called him out for lying because I don't think he lied. If you believe that what he is saying is not true, that is a lie. I really don't know how much clearer my position could possibly be. Now, Katrina ended up typing out a whole nother post, but the moderators deleted it before anybody got a screenshot of it. So there you go. Jordan says, it's like a wild social experiment. I would say something, but there are too many of them convinced that it's a calm. Their lives now aren't just waiting around for the big reveal. It's waiting for Phil to cancel a live, look for some random things that happen in the world, and then reassuring themselves that Phil was just working on something. So basically, let's say Phil cancels a show, and then a blast goes off in China. They're like, oh, Phil's at work, guys. Phil's at work. Do you see that? Do you see what's happening? Do you see what he did? That's what they do. Not Jordan Sather. That Phil was working on something. Meanwhile, Phil takes a fucking nap and misses his 10th live in a row. Wow, just wow. And I said, yeah, it's fucking, they think he's going to be killed for some reason. It's like a long distance relationship, but it's a long distance cult relationship. He doesn't even have to be present. He doesn't have to even be there directing them. They do it on their own. This was one of the biggest things that when we were covering Phil heavily, when he was still live streaming every day, he would literally put a random picture up of a PlayStation controller. They his chat would go wild, trying to figure out all the clues. And PlayStation was invented this day, but not before Xbox. And the Bluetooth module that it uses is Bluetooth 3.7, and it uses USB-C, and C is 3, and that stands for this. And come up with all these crazy theories, and then Phil would just pick one and be like, you got it. You got it. What I was trying to signal was that Antarctica's not real. That's why I showed a PlayStation controller. Shit was fucking wild, dude. They are intense over there. These are the people that you can never wake up. They're going to need deprogramming. I honestly believe that. Like, I'm not making a joke. I've watched a bunch of stuff on like cults and people that talk about are some people in the MAGA movement like cult members. They're going to need deprogramming. How do you come down from it? How do you come down from every time a human post, you add up all the letters in it and do math equations based on that to see if they relate to world events, and just go back to living and thinking that you know what's actually going on behind closed doors around the world, and then just going back to a regular, normal fucking job or something? There's no way. There's no way. You got to be deprogrammed. I don't know what this is. Somebody shared it. It says, "Get out of my pants. I do not exist." Here we go.
It was her child's baseball game, yet she ended up here.
I don't know what happened. My eyeballs are burning.
At her kid's game. This should be great. It looks like she clawed her. I mean, I pushed her out of it. Obviously, your nails are going to dig into somebody's fucking cheek and eye with just pushing their face. Your nails would be pointed straight up. But I imagine the other drunk bitch is going to make this much worse.
She didn't swing at her or nothing. I saw the whole thing. She hit her in the face, right? Did she actually hit her? I don't want to get to ask her, because I was standing back. Did she actually hit you?
She actually did.
Where?
Like on the side of my face.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you're going to see it. But
I got you. Do you want her charges at all?
no. I don't
She
want
asked for her
I don't want
seat
any problems. I just wanted my chair back. That's it.
Where's the bartender? She doesn't want to press charges. At least doing that score. I mean, it could do disorderly conduct, but... let me talk to her first. I want to go talk to the bartender real fast. They don't want to press charges or anything like that, but we're just going to ask what they're mad.
Like, I don't want to be bothered with her, though. I don't want to be bothered with it. I don't want anyone...
Does she need medical attention?
Watch as this timid mom cooperates with the officers to the fullest.
Yeah, she's been cut up good by some fingernails, bro.
She's not leaving so disorderly. So she's gonna leave.
Ma'am, it's not an option. It's either you leave or I take you to jail.
You're going to take me to jail?
Yes, so disorderly conduct, okay? So you have no...
Yeah, look how deep those nails went, dude. That's bad.
I don't have an option to leave because someone else...
Ma'am, I'm trying to give you an opportunity to fix the issue, okay?
I have to remove myself because someone else...
You're both leaving. It's not just
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding you.
I've never left my seat.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm giving this last opportunity to leave voluntarily, or I'm going to put you in
Based off of
handcuffs.
what? Based off of what?
My partner just explained it to you.
No, I didn't hear it. I want to hear it again.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter for any reason, right? Ask to leave.
What law did I break? What law?
You don't have to break a law of private business, right? They can ask you to leave because they for any reason the sky's blue.
This is the last opportunity. I'm putting you in the house.
What law? What law?
She's drunk.
Got it?
This must be like college ball or something with a bar right there. And her son's playing. Oh no. Now they're cheering.
Hey, sir, don't mitigate. Don't aggravate the issue, all right?
That's what you get for stealing a seat.
Me, I'm gonna drag you. Got it?
What law? That's me.
What law?
Crazy?
Let's go. Guys, get out of the way. Get out of the way now.
What law did I break? What?
Is it Major League Ball? No, it's got to be like minor league or something.
Ma'am? Let's go.
Hey, Florence.
I'm gonna drag your ass out. You keep fighting us. You understand?
What law did I break? What law did I break? This is insane. What is wrong with you people? What?
I guess it could be a big game because the original title was Chaos Erupts After Two Moms Fight at Child's Game. So it could be like a big tournament complex that has like a bar.
Law did I break?
Keep walking.
You're just.
Keep walking.
I'm barefoot, by the way. You walk normal?
Can you walk
You
normal?
why? Can you?
Let's go. Keep moving. You better start walking. I'm gonna drag your ass
Why
out.
do you want to do this?
Shut up and walk.
Why do you want to step on my feet?
Wait a second. She's got up. Yeah.
Always an unfortunate camera angle.
Okay.
There are tons of Phillies. You think it's a minor league ball?
They were still fighting. The other girl has injuries. If it could go that, let me talk. If it wants to go that route, they can both be arrested for disorderly conduct, disorderly intoxication.
Tell John Milton to call Jim Duffy. I'm telling you right now. She was innocent by herself. I am telling you.
Yeah, she was. And she's not getting arrested, but she was fighting, so she has to leave. That's it.
She wasn't fighting. She was being attacked.
I have neuropathy. I can't feel my feet. No idea. Why?
I can't feel my feet. Can you feel them for me?
Quit acting like an idiot.
Quit acting like an idiot.
Oh, now she's going to act like you said quit acting like an idiot. She's pissed. She's got some big feet.
I should take 3 of us.
It's going to. Wow, dude. Wow. Imagine 2 big ass muscular cops. They're like, oh no, going to take 3 or 4 of us.
Stop! I have neuropathy, you morons. You gotta stop. It hurts. It hurts. Don't throw me down these stairs. I'm pissing. I'm sorry. Please, guys. No, I'm sorry. I'm pissing. I just pissed my pants. Guys, please stop for a second. Half a second. Hurry, give me a normal.
Don't act like an adult or a child.
I'm a person.
You're making
That was really weird, right? The fact that this little female cop just randomly is like, she's just staring at her. Everything's calmed down. Everything's kind of quiet. And she's like, you want to act like an adult? Or child? That was weird, right? Did she just reboot? And that's the first thing that comes to mind?
No, I'm sorry. I'm pissing. I just pissed my pants. Guys, please stop for a second. Half a second. Hurry, give me a normal.
Don't act like an adult or a child.
I'm a person.
You're
Like, what the fuck? What happened there?
making a scene.
I'm not intentionally. I promise you I'm not. Let's go. I'm too scared.
Walk.
Down the stairs.
You guys are insane people. I pissed myself already. You guys are insane. I can't even believe it.
Now she's going to be locked up overnight. Somebody there was about to get some of that sloppy jalopy later on. I could tell. She's about ready.
Reality. Whoa. Is it hard when you fall down the stairs? This is insane. This hurts.
Now, come on.
Oh,
Make this
man.
easy, okay?
Make this easy. You guys are insanely taking me. Hold on. Give me a
Scream taser and shoot somebody 4 times. Sure.
You're disgusting.
This way.
Dude, there's a cop right now on murder charges. Second-degree murder charges. For killing a guy because they thought his car had a suspicious paint job. Like there's this car that's double parked at a dollar store. And it's got a really shitty paint job on it. Somebody put a paint job on it like their brushes and rollers, right? Painted it white. So I'm guessing the cops might think it's like stolen or something. They pull up, run the tags, everything comes back clean. And they're like, well, they're like, we can't really do anything, but if the business wants to get it towed, we can get it towed. And the other cop's like, why don't we park the cruiser in front of it, then we'll go inside and see who it is. So they go inside and start asking like the employees if it was their car. The employees say no. So they start walking to the back of the store, or like through the store to find customers. When they're walking through the store, the emergency exit alarm sounds. And they're like, there he goes. He's making a run for it. So they run back there and nobody's there. They look outside, nobody's there. Apparently the guy driving the car walked out the front and got in his car. The cops come running out to the car and they're like, stop, stop. The guy backs up but doesn't come close to hitting any of them. Backs up to get some distance between him and the cruiser. Doesn't come close to hitting anybody and starts driving away. And they just start filling it full of fucking holes, dude. I think he gets shot like 4 times. He ends up crashing in the back of somebody. But the only way to fire your gun is like immediate threat to like life. There is a legal grounds called the felony plea or whatever. If you think that they're such a big danger that they committed this heinous felony like murder or something like that, or beat somebody to death, and there are times that you could shoot a fleeing suspect, but it's not over a weirdly painted car or the alarm going off at the Dollar General while you're in there, or someone fleeing. Like you can't just fucking fill them full of holes. It's insane.
Dog shit. Which way?
I got it, sir.
You got me? You got me. You guys got me. You pussies.
Go, man. Come on.
Can't away. Yo, you guys, I love how you tug both back and forth. I got it.
Holy shit, bug dude.
I'm not a him.
This is when Mama decided to garnish the
Her? I'm not a him.
officer's mustache with throat soup.
What did that just say?
Tug both back and forth. I got it. Her? I'm not a him.
This is when Mama decided to garnish the officer's mustache with throat soup.
Does that mean she's going to spit on him or she's going to puke? Chat. 1 for spit, 2 for puke. What's about to happen? What is throat soup? 1 for spit, 2 for puke. What's about to happen here? The ones are leading. Let's see it. She's going to shard on it.
You guys are f***ing pussies.
Oh, really?
Spit it was. Throat soup. Got it. My new favorite word is stink wrinkle.
Oh, you thought that was nice? Oh!
You're gonna make it work.
Way to sue. He just tried to push my head into the glass.
Listen, don't do that.
Damn it! Do it, bitch! I dare you. I dare you. Push my head. Push my head to the glass, you push my head to the glass. I dare you. I
We're not
dare.
open. It's open.
It's not open. It's clearly not. Not off my.
It's open. It's not open. It's clearly not. It's clearly not. I can see it's not open.
Additional charge, man, just so you're aware. Oh, really? That's the other
Yeah, get away from me.
She must have tried to kick him.
Get away from me. Don't up my ear, you weirdo.
You got anything that's gonna poke me or will
Not
stick
at all.
me?
Not at all.
Anything in your bra?
Nope.
Any lighters?
Nope. You got me disgusting. Don't f***ing touch me.
Don't grab me.
No, I'm sorry. You're fine. You guys, can you guys back up and let her do what she gotta do?
All right.
Let her do what she gotta do.
I don't want to be spit on. I don't want to be kicked.
I won't spit on you, but I've already pissed.
I do feel like cops, when cops are leading you by your arms, you're handcuffed. I don't know if it's just unnatural. There's 3 different people trying to line up their walks or whatever, but it does often feel like one of you's pushing, one of them's pulling you, and then the other one pulls you, and then the other one pulls you, and they're doing it on purpose.
because you guys are disgusting. You guys are perverts. Why would you grab me on the other
Stop.
side? I'm barefooted.
I need someone to hold on to you while I search you. You understand?
You already know. First of all, you don't have a right to search me, and you already
You're
did.
under arrest.
Okay.
I have every right to search you. You understand that?
No, I don't.
You have 2 charges right now.
For what?
Bad on Leo
Can you move your
and disorderly conduct.
No, you're not
Just-
answering your phone, so I'm just talking.
Stop.
Disorderly?
Stop.
I know. Can you guys
Calm down.
not and let
Calm
me
down.
listen to her? What am I arrested for? This
Disorderly
is insane.
conduct.
Disorderly conduct. Hanging out at
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Stop.
I'm not
Stop.
trying to.
Stop.
No, this is, you know.
Finish your search and then we can discuss.
You know this. You know this is
Face
wrong.
forward. Please face forward.
No, I don't care. No, I'm not going to do what you want.
Dude, she is cut up good. The girl said, I just pushed her away.
No, man, nothing.
Don't make me get resisting on you too.
You're going to abuse me?
So finish the
So you guys are going to physically
Well,
abuse
the
me?
inside G is traffic sergeant.
Do you want to act like an adult? Or a child?
You guys are disgusting. Can you not put your hands in my pants? This is, I'm not doing anything. This is disgusting. Stop touching my pussy, you weirdos.
Tell them about it. Stop touching my fucking pussy.
Don't do this. It's disgusting. This is my pants. Get out of my pants. I do not exist. I'm not telling you can do it. Stop. You monsters. What's
Get out of my pants. I do not exist.
wrong with you?
Well, the same way you guys are saying she was innocent, there's multiple people over there, not related with this woman that we arrested, other people saying she's the problem. So it's you guys are saying
This guy's still arguing with her. Like, this woman should have already been gone. If they already arrested this woman like 10 minutes ago for refusing to leave. This woman's doing the exact same thing.
she's fine, they're saying she's fine. So when we have conflicting stories, both people leave.
What is wrong with you? Smile? You think it's funny? I was nobody. It was my child.
Ma'am, bring
I
your
was
legs
my
inside.
baby. You
Ma'am,
weirdos. Do not put your...
I don't want to push you in. Put your legs inside for me, please.
Sir,
Please.
do not put yourself on me.
I'm not.
I promise
Okay,
you'll be in
please,
part of the
put your legs
lawsuit.
inside.
No, I'm going to sue you.
Ma'am, you have to sit in the car. I'm going to have to put you inside the car.
You're going to put your hands on me and force me.
I don't want to, but just
I think she was fighting. That's why she ended up barefoot. She's probably in flip-flops or something.
What
put
you
your feet up.
doing?
Ma'am, we're not going to go back
I'm
and
not
forth.
doing anything.
So I'm going to have to push you inside the car.
Are you insane? What is
Okay.
happening with
Come
my
inside the
child?
car.
So you're going to put your hands on me. You're going to put your hands on me.
Take it easier.
You're making this way more difficult for yourself.
Hey, the bartender might love you too.
I didn't do anything.
Now, please.
You can stop attacking me. Stop attacking me. I'm not out.
Man, we're gonna get talk.
Wow.
Put your legs inside.
Well, they got her legs crossed right now.
I'm not stopping, and I'm not doing.
She's too fat to get her legs crossed and in the car.
It's the right way to go.
Just sit up.
Right, man.
Sit up.
I'm not doing anything to sit
up.
No.
Stay on this side. No, to the right. Now, do you have somebody picking you up or Uber? Or your friends are going to be leaving?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any?
To the parking lot. Whatever. All the way there.
Yep. So you can just go off straight
Thank you
make
so
a left
much.
turn. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm not in any trouble, right?
No. You'll probably most likely be just documented in the report that there was an incident, but there's no charges for you. Situation like this, what's fair is fair. So if we're gonna escort one person out, if you were fighting, that's
I'm
all
not
it
being
is.
aggressive. I'm not arguing
No.
or
If you
doing
refuse to
anything.
leave and you
No,
close
I'm
the
not
scene
doing
like
any of
she
that.
did above,
I'm not doing that.
then you would have probably been
That's what
arrested.
she did to me.
I got you. All right. All right,
Do you
ma'am.
care if I just wait here for
You just have to wait on the sidewalk. You have to be off the
up there?
property. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember when Jesus used to heal people?
God damn.
She's why he stopped.
I didn't feel anything. I am a adult human being.
What did the narrator just say? Remember when Jesus used to heal people? She's why they stopped.
Remember when Jesus used to heal people? She's why he stopped.
I didn't feel anything. I am a
I don't want to excite overly excite anybody, but you know Jesus has a podcast now, right? Have you guys seen that?
adult human being that never know fight and break any laws. You piece of shit. Let me out! I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
You
he's
psychopath.
Oh, really?
My arms are broken. You lying piece of shit. I didn't do anything towards you. What law? What law did I break? What law did I break? Get me out! It hurts! It hurts, you piece of shit!
I'll tell you one of the funniest things I've seen in the last couple of days, besides the Jesus podcast, is all these crazy self-defense MAGA people that are always like, stand your ground. Yeah, if you touch me, you're getting 2 holes in the chest and 1 in the head. Blah, blah, blah. All these crazy people. Because now there's a black kid that stabbed a white kid. And apparently the black kid said, if you touch me again, it's going to be fucking bad. He had a knife and stabbed him and ran away. And it just so happened to hit him in the heart. The kid died. It's tragic or whatever. But now they're jumping over themselves to be like, I can't believe that little black kid was going around on a murdering spree. It's wild. They even started a rumor today. So the guy's got to give Sin go for his legal defense. They started a rumor today that his family withdrew all the money from it and bought a house because they're black. I would walk.
Get me out of here, you psychos! Get me out! Get me out, you
She got good rhythm, if nothing else.
Get me out!
Do you have AC there?
You, get me out!
Do you have AC there?
Boss, I did nothing. I broke no laws. Hanging out at the football or the baseball field with my daughter.
Oh. Her daughter.
My child, believe you me.
I wonder if it was
you ugly fat turd.
Do you think
It must not have been a kid's game. Her kid must have been with her, maybe. Yeah, apparently I saw they bought a house in Escalade. Apparently that's just people being racist because, like, what happens when you give black people money? Well, just blow it kind of deal. Because the founder of Give Sin Go reached out to TMZ and is like, they haven't withdrawn any money. Even for his $250,000 bond, they haven't withdrawn any money. So apparently it's not true.
Do you think your child will be happy to see you like this?
I just told you. I just clarified that. Jacob Wells, the founder of the popular crowdsourcing platform, Give Sin Go, no funds have been distributed. Not a single dollar has been distributed from the account. As the company receives clarity from the campaign recipient on use of funds, so that people that have given can be confident in how their donation is being used. They haven't been able to withdraw any of the money.
Hey, knock it off!
Get me out!
What's your name? What's your name?
No, you're got. Get me out of the cuffs!
Okay, well.
My name is Good Citizen.
She does
well,
know
actually,
law.
she don't know law because nobody knows law because y'all are. Every one of the last one of y'all are dumb. This ain't really y'all's talk. The government sucks balls and dicks and stuff, and I don't really blame y'all.
Right.
Because I have a family that loves the law.
Hey, some people like that stuff nowadays, so I guess it works in their favor.
What? Mommy! 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 They're holding me! Mom! Mom!
Maybe she's somebody's daughter.
Somebody help me! Help!
Who did you come with?
I can't imagine getting that drunk in public, dude. How would you function before being arrested?
What law did I break?
Listen, I'm trying to find your
What law did I
son.
break?
We're not gonna go through this again. I already explained.
No, go through it again.
Every time I try to explain, you cut me off.
What law did I
Listen,
break? That
I wanna know-
This is sad! This is sad! You're gonna put a bomb in here? You're gonna put a bomb in here? You're gonna throw a bomb in here?
Well, the only bomber here is you, love.
Alrighty, come on out.
We're gonna put you in my car, okay? Is that right?
Yeah, you guys are adorable. One room after another. Get the off me. For what reason?
Yeah, just,
We're not gonna have this conversation. Just come sit down so we don't have to put you inside the car.
I'll
Can you move that my hair? Can you move that hair out of my apple?
All right, so I'll explain everything to you as soon as you have to see, okay? So can we just be cool with each other?
Yeah.
All right, just go and sit inside the car.
I'm sitting in the car.
Man,
I'm
I'll watch you.
not. Hey, could you not be a pussy? I'm literally incapable of doing anything.
I understand.
Could you just use words?
For-
I am
so,
barefooted.
my
look at my
safety-
toe. Do you see me bleeding?
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, that's what you guys did to me.
Listen.
Yes, sir. What would you like to tell me when I didn't do anything?
Okay, I'd like to
Yada, yada,
first. go and sit inside the car.
No,
okay.
I'm sitting physically inside the car. Look,
No, I mean, I want you to bring your feet
no,
inside the
you
car.
can just ask me lots of stuff. What would you want me? Can you just talk?
Okay, ma'am. It's
Just
either you
speak.
do what we'll
Shut up and speak. This is so ridiculous.
Ma'am, please move your feet inside the car.
What am I being charged with?
You're being charged with drunken and disorderly. Okay, so disorderly intoxication. And you're also being charged with battery law enforcement officer for spitting on me and kicking me. So you don't remember doing that?
Oh, well, you mean when you were physically handling? Oh, okay.
All right, so go and move your feet inside the car for me, okay? Thank you, ma'am. And I'd be more than happy to answer all
Oh my God, you're being very dramatic. What else do you gotta say?
Nothing. Just go and move your feet inside the car.
You guys arrested me, and this is insanely
But
tight.
you understand why you're being arrested?
No, I don't. You
Okay.
make no sense. You were tried to arrest me before you even tried to attack me, which is what I was
No one
defending
attacked
myself.
you. No one attacked you at all.
All right, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
Mama was
do what you got to do.
disorderly intoxication and battery upon a peace officer. YouTube thinks you'll love the video on screen. Click to watch now.
Well, there you go. Oh, I think so. They just live in his family lives in an expensive gated community. I think the estimated rent where he lives is like $3,500 a month or something. And then someone saw a new car in a car that they recently bought in the driveway. So who would really know is you're just listen. There's a lot of conflicting evidence. Who would really know? The guy whose company is holding all the money. If 1,000 people came and told you that I withdrew all the money out of your checking account, and you're like, oh my God, all the money's gone from my checking account, but you call the bank and they're like, no, all your money's here. No one withdrew it. That's the people that would know. Why would the guy that owns Give, Send, Go say no money's been withdrawn from that account? It's not just a rumor when the guy who owns the company that's holding the money says, no, all the money's still here. You understand there's a difference between people on the internet saying he bought a new car and an Escalade and a house, and the guy who owns the business saying we haven't distributed a single dollar of that money. Those are two different things. The same way that if I tell you all your money's gone, but you call your bank, you'd probably listen more to your bank than you would just a random person on the internet. Yeah, it's a whole big story down in Texas. It's it's a black guy with a knife, a white kid. There's still a bunch of conflicting stories, but apparently there was like a rain event that he was under a different team's tent, which a lot of coaches said that always happens. You go to different tents, set with teams or whatever. He was asked to leave. He said no. Then the guy said he was going to make him. He said, if you put your hands on me, it's going to be bad. He put his hands on him again. Some people say he struck him. Some people say he tried to grab him. But either way, the kid got stabbed. It's a horrible story. The kid got stabbed, but the self-defense, the fucking crazy self-defense people are off the chain, trying to stumble all over themselves to be like, this black kid is a menace to society, when they literally defend everybody else. Everybody else. Self-defense looks like self-defense to me. They're the biggest hypocrites in the world. I had another one pulled up. Is it this one? I have not pre-watched this one. Elon Musk whistleblower gets scary threat at home before going public.
Whistleblower sounding the alarm on Elon Musk and Doge and their attempts to defraud all of us. That's what we have today. My name is Brittany Page, and this is the Page Perspective. First, I want to say that Elon Musk does not want this story to gain traction, but in the flood of 5-alarm fires every hour in the headlines, we must help push this story to the top. So it doesn't even need to be this video, but share this story with people that you know so that we can ensure Elon is not able to bury it. Now, one of the most remarkable magic tricks that Elon and his billionaire buddies have pulled is somehow convincing people who will never have even a scintilla of the financial security the billionaire class enjoys for themselves, ever, in their entire life, after decades and decades of working day in and day out, convincing those people to come out and hold signs in front of Tesla dealerships in defense of a billionaire and write lengthy diatribes to their friends and family about how Elon is doing a public service. He's so freely giving of himself and his time for the people. And those of us who have seen the writing on the wall have been waiting for more evidence that Elon is not an altruist who is singularly focused on government efficiency. And
Oh,
we now
you,
have new evidence
you don't say.
PR reporter Jenna McLaughlin, who obtained an official whistleblower disclosure. We now have an inside look at what Doge is up to when we get these news reports that they're showing up to federal agencies, demanding access and shutting down programs that save lives. In this case, we're talking specifically about the National Labor Relations Board, which NPR describes as, quote, the small independent federal agency investigates and adjudicates complaints about unfair labor practices. It stores reams of potentially sensitive data, from confidential information about employees who want to form unions to proprietary business information. Now,
why would he need to know anything about people who potentially want to form unions in workplaces?
this whistleblower has since come out. His name is Daniel Barulis. He's given interviews, and I'm going to play a bit of his interview with Jake Tapper and his attorney, where his attorney details some of what happened here. I'm also going to play a portion where his attorney talks about a threatening letter the whistleblower received, as well as drone footage of him walking his dog to accompany the threat. This is serious. Elon does not want this story to gain traction. According to the whistleblower complaint, interviews with the whistleblower and records of internal communications reviewed by NPR, quote, technical staff members were alarmed about what Doge engineers did when they were granted access, particularly when those staffers noticed a spike in data leaving the agency. It's possible that the data included sensitive information on unions, ongoing legal cases, and corporate secrets.
So I don't know if you guys remember this, but during the campaign, Elon Musk and Trump did an Twitter space thing, right? And Trump was bragging about how Elon Musk is famously anti-union. Like, I remember when they tried to become a union on you, and you just went in there and fired everybody, and they laughed about it.
Data that 4 labor law experts tell NPR should almost never leave the NLRB, and that has nothing to do with making the government more efficient or cutting spending. Members of the Doge team asked their activity.
The NLRB is the National Labor Relations Board.
Logged on the system, and then appeared to try to cover their tracks behind them, turning off monitoring tools and manually deleting records of their access. Evasive behavior that several cybersecurity experts interviewed by NPR compared to what criminal or state-sponsored hackers might do. If you can believe it, it gets worse and more scary. And this is because employees with the NLRB were particularly concerned with what they started seeing, these login attempts that they started seeing just minutes after Doge arrived from in Russia. And this is where I'm going to whistleblower's attorney.
Of course they did.
Outline 2 key issues that we need to focus on here.
There are 2 data points that I want to point out that should give everybody pause. The first thing, what Dan witnessed, was that within 15 minutes of Doge employees creating user accounts, i.e. usernames and passwords, within 15 minutes of those accounts being created, somebody or something from Russia tried to log in with the right username and right passwords. That is to say, the right credentials. And that happened over.
Within minutes of them creating their username and passwords, an IP address from Russia tried logging in.
20 times. The second data.
Holy shit. Over 20 times?
Tried to log in with the right username and right passwords. That is to say, the right credentials. And that happened over 20 times. The second data point, which is really critical, is that Doge has also been using Starlink as a means to exfiltrate data. What that means is that, from our understanding, that Russia has a direct pipeline of information through Starlink, which means that anything going through Starlink is going to Russia. We also know that this is not unique to the NLRB. This is happening government-wide. And then the other thing that
we don't have internet right now, and we don't have cell phone service in my house. We fucking have to use Starlink. And the people who let us borrow the satellite, this actual equipment, they've been paying it up until this point. But I got to start paying it this month. But man, I just wish I'm appreciative of them and Starlink and loaning us and paying the bill and all that shit. I wish I didn't have to give Elon any fucking money.
I wanted to flag for everybody is that right now, that I don't want to say that this is intentional, it could very well have been a mistake, is that critical infrastructure databases in many government agencies, as we understand it, have been exposed to the open internet, which includes critical databases at the Department of Energy, which includes a lot of our nuclear regulatory agencies.
I guarantee you that ever since this investigation into waste, fraud, and abuse, that they have fucking everything. That our enemies have fucking everything.
Material. So right now, the real concern is that this is not unlike Chernobyl and all of the control panels lighting up after the meltdown. This is serious, and I just want to commend Dan for coming forward to bring this to everybody's attention, because this really is the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, absolutely. Daniel is coming forward at great personal risk, and we will get to that in a moment. But think about what you just heard. Doge has been showing up to government agency after government agency, demanding access to data, and we have zero oversight what they are actually doing with that data. Now we're getting insider information from Daniel and other employees who were so concerned that the confidential data at the NLRB could be exposed and abused by private companies. And for this, I want to turn back to NPR briefly. Quote, the labor law experts interviewed by NPR fear that if the data gets out, it could be abused, including by private companies with cases before the agency that might get insights into damaging testimony, union leadership, legal strategies, and internal data on competitors, Musk's SpaceX among them. It could also intimidate whistleblowers who might speak up about unfair labor practices, and it could sow distrust in the NLRB's independence, they said. The whistleblower's account is corroborated by internal documentation and was reviewed by 11 technical experts across other government agencies and the private sector. In total, NPR spoke to over 30 sources across the government, the private sector, the labor movement, cybersecurity, and law enforcement who spoke to their own concerns about how DOJ and the Trump administration might be handling sensitive data and the implications for its exposure. Much of the following comes from the whistleblower's official disclosure and interviews with NPR. So this is very sourced, and while the acting secretary for the NLRB is responding to this reporting, denying that DOJ was provided access to its systems and data and that an investigation took place.
One good job, one good thing that they do, the Trump administration, as a united front, they deny everything. Across the board. They always have the same story. It's like whatever the like press secretary or Trump or whatever repeat, they just all fucking repeat it. We didn't have a reporter on no war plans. No war plans or texts. No. Oh, we're having Elon Musk see how that reporter even got in there. Did he put his name in my phone book wrong?
Already, the reporting is clear to note that there's evidence that's not true. Forensic data, records of conversations, you can't just deny the evidence. But like I said, Daniel is coming forward at great personal risk. And I want you to hear from Daniel and his attorney because it's described in the NPR reporting, but let's hear about the personal threat taped to Daniel's front door directly from the source.
The message was clear, although poorly constructed. It was to stop looking, stop reporting. The pictures were of me walking my dog from above. Basically,
like a satellite photo?
No, it was actually taken by a drone. What's really
Pictures of him out walking his dog taken by a drone were sent to him with a threat.
disturbing about all of this is that we had somebody literally either themselves or have somebody go to Dan's home and tape a threatening note, a menacing note that included a lot of personal information. There was a clear reference to his...
Maybe that's what Phil's been working on. Maybe Phil's been threatening this Daniel guy. That's what he's been doing. The whistleblowers. That's why he can't do his live stream.
Activities ahead of our filing, and with an image basically threatening him as he's walking his dog. And that image was taken via drone. We've taken this very seriously. And by the way, I've done this for a number of years professionally, and this is something that really takes me aback. And it's only something I've seen maybe once or twice in handling whistleblower claims, both public and private sector.
So the IT team at the NLRB was so concerned about what DOJ was doing, their inability to gain clarity into what was actually happening, and the potential for abuse, that they started to raise these concerns only to be met with very real threats to personal safety. And there's no other way to read this. The threat is meant to, designed to silence this whistleblower and anyone else, to prevent him and anyone else from coming forward, to prevent him from making noise. But he's doing us a service. He's giving us information we would otherwise not be privy to, so that we can be moved to action, so that we can pressure our electeds to do something about Elon Musk and DOJ and their...
By the way, speaking of this and crimes and stuff going on, you guys remember the Ahmed Aubrey case? The black guy that was just jogging, and then they chased him down in their trucks and like blocked him in and all that shit. People like Tim Pool are now calling for those people to be pardoned and released. That was horrible what they did. Dude, that was fucking horrible. Chased him down, blocked him in, wouldn't holy fuck. Pulled guns on him.
Unfettered access to whatever cookie jar they want to shove their hand into. This is certainly not the last we will be hearing about these issues, especially given Daniel's attorney's statement about how he's heard concerns from other agencies. And
I'm genuinely asking you if you're retarded. How could they spend the money on anything if they didn't withdraw? Let's say you have $1,000 in your bank account. You, Tiffany, have $1,000 in your bank account. I start a rumor that you took all the money out of your bank accounts and spent it on cocaine. $1,000 for cocaine for a baby. You say, no, I didn't. And then your bank comes out and says, nope, the $1,000 is still right here. The owner of Give, Send, Go, says they haven't taken the money out. They don't have the money to spend it on other things. They don't have the money to spend it on a car. They don't have the money to spend it on a house. The Give, Send, Go money has not been given to them. They don't have it. They haven't withdrawn the money. I'm sure they're using donations to get by from family and friends and people around them. I'm sure. The $400,000 at Give, Send, Go, they haven't received it. Like, just as much as I can't say that you spent your next paycheck on pizza and hot wings. You don't have that paycheck yet. They haven't gotten it. They haven't withdrawn it. It's not in their bank account. They couldn't possibly spend it on a car or a house. The owner of the company is actually reaching out to the lawyer to say, hey, we have rules around how we distribute this money and what it's supposed to be used for so people don't get scammed, because they haven't withdrawn it yet. They haven't taken it. None. $0. The same way that you haven't spent next year's salary on a yacht. You don't have it. The owner of Give, Send, Go, Carmelo Anthony, has not withdrawn any funds from his nearly $450,000 Give, Send, Go fundraiser, even after he walked free from the slammer on a $250,000 bond. Jacob Wells, the founder of crowdsourcing platform Give, Send, Go, tells TMZ that not a single dollar, no funds, have been distributed to the family. $0. Zero. They don't have it yet.
And we know Doge has been hammering through agency after agency, surely doing more of the same. Please take time to share the story because we cannot let it get buried. What do you think? Call and tell me. You can call and leave a fewer than 3-minute voicemail at 202-656-1509 or send an email to idoubt@dollamore.com. You can support my work here by clicking the join button below to become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or by going to patreon.com/idoubtitpodcast. You can share this video. You can share the channel. You can click subscribe or like, and that's free. Leaving a comment is free. Truly anything helps feed that algorithm and send this video off to other people who need to see it. I appreciate you all. Take care, and I will see you next time.
Even the worst of the news stories say that he lives in a gated community and that some of the neighbors said they had a new car. He lives in a $900,000 house with his family. Even though they claimed they had limited financial means to get the bond lowered. He walked free from prison after the judge lowered his bond from $1 million to $250,000. I don't, it's not just these people are saying he spent it and these people are saying he didn't. The person that holds the money and gives it to you is saying they couldn't have spent it because they don't have it. If you were holding $1 million for me until the end of the year, you can't give it to me. You have it. And a rumor starts that I spent $1 million on hookers that you had. The $1 million you gave me, I spent it on hookers. And you came forward and said, no, I still have it. He couldn't have spent this $1 million on hookers. I'm still holding it. I haven't given it to you. Here it is. That's different than people saying, oh, he spent it on hookers. Oh, he didn't. The guy who holds the money, who keeps the money, is saying, we haven't given him any money. One resident told the Daily Mail that the family just purchased a new vehicle. Another resident says, well, they got to be well off if they're living in this community. Someone said that one of the cars had a paper tag on it saying it expires June 4th, but they don't know who's driving that car. The dad is a sole breadwinner that works. It says a lavish lifestyle is a stark contrast to the cash struggles Anthony's father, Andrew Anthony, claimed to have in court Monday, where the parent claimed he was the sole breadwinner. All their money could be tied up in just living. Prosecutors grilled Anthony over why he could not use the more than $439,000 as of Tuesday night in donated funds for his son's defense to pay the $1 million bond. Andrew told the court that he has no access to the donated funds and instead planned to use the money for his son's legal defense. Many of the family's neighbors didn't know that the Anthonys lived there until he came home from jail. Richwoods, as an inclusive community is called, it's located within walking distance of Centennial High School, where Anthony ran track and was the captain of the football team before his arrest. Most residents were not happy the teen was there and even expressed fears for their safety. That's kind of fucked up, but it's not like he's a serial killer that goes out at night and preys on rich white people, right? He was involved in an altercation. I don't think he's going to be involved in anybody else's in another altercation before he goes back to court. Here's a quote. Not good. Not good. I don't think he should be out. I don't understand why he had a knife. My kids were in track. Your tents for your school. You don't sit under other schools' tents. One of the coaches come forward and said, we always do this. I don't know if you've ever played track or ran track, but I wasn't even on the track team. And I would show up at the track sometime and sit under other teams' tents and hang out with them. Try to hook up with girls or some shit, or people that I knew from other schools. But when the coaches come out and said, no, like everybody's under everybody's tent. It's like a lunchroom. Everybody goes and mingles. You don't sit under another school's tent. That is not because everyone leaves their stuff there while they're out in the events, the mom explained. Why would you stab someone? And now he's a few doors down. It's very scary. Like, could he rob houses? This sounds like a super racist white woman. Like, just because he's involved in an altercation that ended in death, which is tragic, horrible. Nobody should die that young. That's horrible, right? To say, like, what if he's going to rob our houses now that he's out on bail? It's kind of fucked up. No one came to the door when Daily Mail attempted to seek a comment from the family. Other neighbors learned the family connected to the heinous crimes, lived near them while speaking to the Daily Mail. The whole reason we live here is because it's gated. This is supposed to be a good neighborhood. These are high-end houses. Not everyone can move in here. I don't even know what to say. This is supposed to be safe. That neighbor questioned why Anthony would be asking for public donations while maintaining a lifestyle everyone in that community has. They're not poor people, that's for sure, if they live here. There's the twins. Throughout the day, deliveries for the Anthonys arrived. A Domino's pizza was ordered for lunch. Wow, that's a little extreme. An adult man left the house mid-morning with a suitcase, did not return. Anthony family attorney has said some of the public funds would be used to move and hire additional security as they have received threats since Metcalf's death. The best thing they can do is move. One neighbor told Daily Mail, I think that would be best for everyone. That sounds like a threat. Right. You don't have to be poor to not have fucking cash on hand. Especially if everything's financed. You can't even like liquidate something. Like, it's one thing to own like 3 homes and they're like, sell a fucking home and pay this or whatever. But if everything's financed, I don't know. I don't even know if they started the Give, Sing, Go, if somebody started it in their name, like for them. Hard to tell. Anyways, Elon Musk doing what Elon Musk does. I don't really want to watch this, but I guess we're going to. The White House is 100% lying. They're claiming, like, you can go read the court order. We did this the other night. They lost. The only thing that's in here that has anything to do with the judge that Trump doesn't like in the district court is that they should clarify what they mean when they say effectuate. Right? That's the only thing in here. To effectuate the return. They still say that they have to facilitate the return. They say that he's got to be afforded the same rights as if this mistake didn't happen. They say that it was illegal, that they weren't allowed to do this legally, that they have no grounds for any of this, that they have to facilitate his return, that he has to be brought back to the states. All those things are said, right? The only thing they say is that the order properly requires the government to facilitate his release from custody in El Salvador and to ensure that his case is handled as it would have been had it not been improperly sent to El Salvador. The intended scope of the term effectuate in the district court order is, however, unclear and may exceed the district court's authority. So just the term effectuate is going back to the court so he can make a clarification statement. Now, I'm pretty sure the judge decided to hold him in contempt. That's what this is. Judge finds cause to hold Trump administration in criminal contempt for violating a deportation order. A federal judge on Wednesday said he has found probable cause to hold Trump administration in criminal contempt of court and warned he would seek officials' prosecution for violating his orders last month to turn the planes around. This was when he said turn the planes around in a verbal order, but they said, oh, we heard the verbal order, but the verbal order holds no weight. We were waiting on the written order, and by the time the written order got here, the planes are already in the sky, right? Too far to turn around or whatever. The ruling from U.S. District Judge James E. Boasberg, from whom President Donald Trump has said should be impeached, marks a dramatic battle between the judicial and executive branches of the government over the president's power to carry out key White House priorities. Boasberg accused administration officials of rushing deportees out of the country under the Aliens Enemies Act last month before they could challenge their removal in court, and then willfully disregard his order that the planes already in air should return to the United States. The judge said he could hold hearings and potentially refer to the matter to the prosecution if the administration does not act to remedy the violation. If Trump's Justice Department leadership declines to prosecute the matter, Boasberg said he will appoint another attorney to do so. The Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience to judicial orders, especially by officials of a coordinate branch who have sworn an oath to uphold it, wrote Boasberg, the chief judge of Washington's federal court. The administration said it would appeal. The United States, the president is 100% committed to ensuring that terrorists and criminal illegal migrants are no longer a threat to Americans and their communities across the country. White House Communications Director Stephen Chung wrote in a post on X, this case has become one of the most contentious amid a slew of legal battles. So he's basically saying he can hold him in contempt, right? The Supreme Court has said you must facilitate everything back to the way it was. Like, you fucked up. They even call it illegal. They call it illegal right at the start and say that if this were legal, if this were true, if the Constitution was on their side, not only could they do this to illegal immigrants, they could do this to U.S. citizens. They could do this exact thing to U.S. citizens. So out of that, they're trying to put their spin on it. So they release a bunch of documents here. I think I got them. Here we go. So these are, Pam Bondi says, look out, we're releasing all the things about the terrorist, Kilmar, Abrego, whatever. So we get this Prince George's County Police Department gang field interview sheet. Okay? It's got a date and time, officer, whatever, height, weight, all that stuff. Hair length, short, hairstyle, straight. He has beard, goatee, mustache, normal teeth, complexion, medium. And then it says this. Straight down below that, it says, Gang Mara Salvatrucha, 13, MS-13. As a member, the clique is the Westerns, and member status is active. His moniker is Chile, allegedly. Then it says he's arrested alone, or then it says dress. So it says gang criteria. Arrested alone, or whatever that means. Dress, the way he was dressed. A reliable source. Affiliates gang. And frequents gang area. Where do you think the gang area they arrested him in was? Think about everything you know about potentially illegal immigrants in the United States. Where do you think they arrested him at this where he frequents a gang area? Just guess. A fucking Home Depot looking for day work. He was standing, you know, you see the immigrants at the Home Depot looking for people buying shit that need help, and people would come up and be like, I need 3 people, you know, I'll pay you for the day. A day worker at Home Depot. Frequents a gang area. On 3/28/2019 at approximately 14:27 hours, Detective Blank. By the way, this detective has been wildly discredited and has been removed from the force for giving sensitive departmental information about investigations to a hooker he was sleeping with. Just if you want some background on the detective, there you go. Detective Blank with Hyattsville City Police observed 4 individuals loitering in the parking lot of a Home Depot located at 3301 East West Highway in Hyattsville, Maryland. As Detective Blank approached the individuals, 2 of the individuals reached into their waistbands and discarded several unknown items under a parked vehicle. All 4 individuals were stopped by Hyattsville officer. Detective Blank immediately recognized Hernandez Romero, a.k.a. Bimbo, as a member of the MS-13 Sailors clique. So not even the clique he's supposedly in. 2 small plastic bottles containing marijuana was located on the scene. All 4 individuals were transported back to Division 1 for interviews. So they claim they threw these plastic bottles with marijuana under a car. None of them got charged with the marijuana. Weird. Member of the Prince George County Gang Unit MS-13 Intelligence Squad have encountered Hernandez Romero on multiple occasions. He has an extensive criminal history for multiple assaults, concealing dangerous weapons, burglary, and many other criminal offenses. He has also been found guilty of gang participation in the Circuit Court of Prince George County in December 2018. Officers know Hernandez Romero to be a member of MS-13 gang member with the Sailors clique with the rank of observation, moniker Bimbo. Okay. Officers also interviewed Jose Guillermo Dominguez. During the interview, officers observed tattoos of skulls covering their eyes, ears, and mouth. Officers know these kind of tattoos are indicative of the Hispanic gang culture. They don't even say what gang, just gang culture. The tattoo is meant to represent ver or Kayer, or see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil. He also had a tattoo of a devil on his left leg, which officers know only high-ranking MS-13 gang members are allowed to get the tattoo with horns. This represents power within MS-13 officers, or within MS-13. Officers made contact with a past proven and reliable source of information who advised Jose Guillermo Dominguez as an active MS-13 gang member with the Sailors clique, the rank of Checo, with the moniker Maniaco, maybe. Officers then interviewed Kilmar Omendo Abrego Garcia. So this is our guy, okay? During the interview, officers observed he was wearing a Chicago Bulls hat. And a hoodie with rolls of money covering the eyes, ears, and mouth of the presidents on separate denominations. So it on separate denominations. So it's a hoodie with money. It's a hoodie with money on it. And then on it, it had with rolls of money covering the eyes, ears, and mouth of the presidents on the separate denominations. So it has money on it. With rolls of money that are also covering the presidents on the money. Is that what they're saying? Officers know such clothing to be indicative of the Hispanic gang culture. The meaning of the clothing is to represent the same thing. See no evil, hear no evil, say no evil. Wearing the Chicago Bulls hat represents that they are a member in good standing with MS-13. Or they could be a Bulls fan. Officers contacted a past proven and reliable source of information who advised Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia is an active member of MS-13 with the Westerns clique. The confidential source further advised that he is the rank of Checo with the moniker of Chele. That's all that's in this. Then there's another guy, Ramirez Herrera. That's also included in this. Then we go down to the next document. So this is on him, Abrego Garcia. We scroll further down. None. See narrative. Blah, blah, blah. Fingerprints. Booking photo. Health status. Claims to be in good health. Alien present without admission or parole. PWA. Warrant for arrest. Subject has no criminal history. Subject has been identified as a member active of MS-13. All because one informant. All the records checked were negative. United States funds in possession. He had $1,000 on him. On March 28, 2019, the Prince George County Police Gang Unit made contact with two. So what you'll see here is there are people saying that the judges ruled that he was a gang member. That's not true. The judges recognize that this Prince George County claimed that alleged that he's a gang member. Right? On March 28, 2019, the Prince George County Police Gang Unit made contact with two suspected illegal aliens whom they had validated as active MS-13 gang members. ICE ERO officers blank and blank responded to 5600 Rhode Island Avenue, Hyattsville, Maryland. Upon arrival, blank met with the task force officer, Detective Blank, and he stated that a subject, later identified as Abrego Garcia, Kilmar Armando, and Dominguez, Jose Guillermo, was the subjects identified themselves as Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer and questioned the subject as their citizenship. The subjects freely admitted being citizens and national of El Salvador by birth and that they were present in the United States illegally. The subjects were not in possession of any immigration documents that would allow them to be in or remain in the United States. At approximately 1930, the subjects were arrested and transported to the Howard County Detention Center for overnight placement. On March 29, 2019, the subject was transported to the Baltimore field office for processing. So this is the last time they picked him up, in 2019. Abrego Garcia is a citizen and national of El Salvador. Abrego Garcia claimed to have walked across the desert for many days, entering illegally in the United States near McAllen, Texas, on or about March 25, 2012. Abrego Garcia's fingerprints and photograph were entered into the IDENT IAFIS database and returned with the immigration and criminal history listed below. Immigration history. Record checks showed that Abrego Garcia has no immigration history and received an A201577119 as a result of today's apprehension. Immigration charge. Abrego Garcia has made no claims to USC, LPR, and is amenable to removal under 212 of Immigration and Nationality Act, as amended, in that Abrego Garcia is an alien present in the United States without being admitted or paroled, or who arrived in the United States at any time or place other than is designated by the Attorney General. Abrego Garcia claims to be in good health. Abrego Garcia was given the opportunity to make one free phone call. Abrego Garcia made a call to blank at blank and remained for 5 minutes. Abrego Garcia is not claiming fear of return to his country. So even his lawyer is going to bring up, like, these two documents don't even match. Like, obviously he's claiming fear because he is in just a second. Gang affiliation. Per Prince George County Police Gang Unit. They're always going to reference this one gang unit that the lead detective has been discredited and was sleeping with hookers and giving them information and blah, 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 right? Abrego Garcia was validated as a member of the MS-13 gang. Subject was identified as a member of the MS-13, Checo from the Western Clique, a transnational criminal street gang. This information was provided by blank, who has provided truthful and accurate information in the past. See Prince George's County Police Department gang sheet. So they're just saying, see the sheet above. Abrego Garcia has gang affiliation. The subject states that he has no information about gangs or human or drug smuggling. So they're like, he's a gang member, but he won't tell us about the drugs or smuggling. Well, he's probably not a gang member. Abrego Garcia was advised as his right to speak with a consular officer in his native country of El Salvador, which he declined. Abrego Garcia is claiming fear for returning to his home country in El Salvador. Right up here it says Abrego Garcia is not claiming fear of returning to his country. And then right here it says, is claiming fear of returning to his home country. In the same document. disposition. A notice to appear is being executed at Abrego Garcia as per section 212A, 6A, I of the Immigration and Nationality Act. And we get this, encloses a copy of the board's decision and order in the above referenced case. Executive Office of Immigration Review, Board of Immigration Appeals of the office. Encloses a copy of the board's decision in the above referenced case. The copy is being provided to you as a courtesy. Your attorney and representative has been served with this decision pursuant to ACFR 1292-5A. If the attached decision orders that you be removed from the United States or affirms an immigration judge's decision ordering that you be removed, any petition for review of the attached decision must be filed with and received by the appropriate court of appeals within 30 days of the date of decision, right? So here's your decision, which we can't see. It's blacked out. But here's your decision. You got 30 days to appeal it. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia in bonds processing appeal on behalf of the respondent, on behalf of DHS, applicant redetermination of custody status. The respondent, a native and citizen of El Salvador, appeals from an immigration judge's April 24, 2019 decision denying his request for release on bond from the custody of the Department of Homeland Security pursuant to Section 236A of the Immigration Nationality Act, 8 U.S.C. 1226A. On May 22, 2019, the immigration judge issued a memorandum setting forth the reasons underlying her conclusion that the respondent did not show that he is not a danger to the community or that he presents a flat risk capable of being mitigated by bond. So basically what they're saying is a lot of times in a regular bond case, they have to prove that you are a danger to the community, right? Or you get bond. In immigration, it's kind of backwards. You have to prove that you're not a danger and you're not a flight risk. This board reviews the immigration judge's factual findings for clear error. An alien must demonstrate, here it is, an alien must demonstrate to the satisfaction of the immigration judge that his or her release would not pose a danger to property or persons. Thus, only if an alien has established that he or she would not pose a danger to persons or property should an immigration judge decide the amount of bond necessary to ensure the alien's presence at the proceedings to remove him or her from the United States. So it'd be kind of hard to, like being here illegally, it'd be kind of hard to prove you're not a flight risk and you're not dangerous, especially when somebody claims that you're a member of MS-13 and you can't efface that accuser. They have no evidence. They're just saying it over and over again, right? The respondent argues that the immigration judge clearly erred in determining that he is a verified member of MS-13 because there is no reliable evidence in the record to support such a finding. In this regard, the respondent asserts that the Prince George's County Police Department gang field interview sheet, GFIS, is based on hearsay relayed by a confidential source. The respondent also claims that he presented sufficient evidence to rebut the allegation that he is affiliated with MS-13, including character references and criminal records showing that he has only ever been charged with traffic offenses. Therefore, the respondent contends that the immigration judge erroneously ruled that he did not show that he is not a danger to the community. So that's their appeal. We adopt and affirm the immigration judge ruling. See matter of this, notwithstanding the respondent's challenges to the reliability of the GFIS, the immigration judge appropriately considered allegations of gang affiliation against the respondent in determining that he has not demonstrated that he is not a danger to property or persons. So basically they're like saying, well, these people are saying you are a gang member, and how do you prove that you're not a gang member when the only evidence they have is saying, yeah, he is. Right? So he provided character statements. He provided, witnesses. He provided testimony and his background that he's never been arrested. But that wasn't enough when they just say, yeah, you are a gang member, right? Anyways, that ends up, the appeal does not go through. Respondent's native, blah, blah, blah. Respondent notice to appear, sets forth, Salvador, he arrived in the United States, place unknown, date unknown. Respondent was charged with removability pursuant as an alien present in the United States without being admitted on parole or who arrived in the United States at a time or place other than designated by custody. The respondent requested a bond determination hearing, which the court conducted on April 24, 2019. As a bond hearing, the respondent, through counsel, requested a $5,000 bond. He argued that he is not a flight risk. He asserted that he has lived in the United States for 8 years. He has 2 brothers who are legal permanent residents. His fiancée is a United States citizen, and the respondent is helping to raise and support her 2 children. His fiancée, also 5 months pregnant with a child by the respondent. Her pregnancy is high risk. He stated that he failed to appear for hearings on some traffic violations because he was not aware of those hearings, and he intends to hire an attorney to resolve his traffic proceedings. In addition, the respondent stated that he intends to apply for relief in the form of asylum and adjustment on status based on his relationship to his fiancée, whom he intends to marry. The respondent also argued that he is not a danger to the community. He also has no criminal convictions. He denied being a gang member and objected to the admissibility of the Form I-213 and the Prince George's County Police Department gang field interview sheet because he lacked the opportunity to cross-examine the detective who determined that he is a gang member. The DHS opposed the respondent's request for bond. The DHS asserted that respondent is a verified gang member. The respondent was arrested in the company of other ranking gang members at a Home Depot, right? Not at a fucking rally, and was confirmed to be ranking member of MS-13 gang by a proven and reliable source. The DHS argued that the Form I-213 is admissible as a legally reliable document in immigration court. An alien seeking a custody redetermination of the act bears the burden of demonstrating that he merits release on bond. The respondent may satisfy this burden by demonstrating that his release does not pose a danger to persons or property, a threat to national security, or risk of flight, and that he is likely to appear for any future proceedings. An immigration judge has broad discretion, blah, blah, blah. After considering the information provided by both parties, the court concluded that no bond was appropriate for this matter. The court first reasoned that the respondent failed to meet his burden of demonstrating that his release from custody would not pose a danger to others, as the evidence shows that he is a verified MS-13 gang member. The BIA has held that absent any indication that the information therein is incorrect or was the result of coercion or duress. So basically, they're saying absent that you can't prove that this guy didn't say you were a gang member, that's the only way you can get rid of this form? It seems like it follows you around for life. What are you supposed to do about that? And 213 is inherently trustworthy and admissible. The respondent contends that the Form I-213, in his case, erroneously states that he was detained in connection to a murder investigation, which is true, had nothing to do with that. He also claims that the I-213 is internally contradicts itself as to whether the respondent fears returning to El Salvador. The reason for the respondent's arrest, given on his Form I-213, does not appear at odds with a gang field interview sheet, which states the respondent was approached because he and others were loitering outside a Home Depot. Regardless, the determination that the respondent is a gang member appears to be trustworthy and is supported by other evidence in the record, namely information contained in the gang field interview sheet. Although the court is reluctant to give evidentiary weight to respondent's clothing as an indication of gang affiliation, the fact that a past proven and reliable source of information verified the respondent's gang membership, rank, and gang name is sufficient support. But, you know, honestly, I could tell you that anybody who's a member of a gang. I did this on Facebook today. There was this guy, his name was Jeff, I think, and he was like, the judge said that he was a gang member and blah, there's evidence he's a gang member. And I said, oh, Jeff is a gang member and has a tiny pecker. In fact, Jeff is the president of the Tiny Pecker, Tennessee gang. So now it's documented evidence, right? It's documented. He's a gang member. Prove that that's not documented. It's documented. I wrote it out. I typed it. I hit enter. It's documented. Respondent is the respondent is a gang member, and the respondent has failed to present evidence to rebut that assertion. I wanted to get to the part. Okay. Although the respondent stated that he intends to file for asylum, his eligibility is limited with withholding and removal and protection under the Convention Against Torture due to his failure to file an application within 1 year of arriving in the United States. Those forms of relief are blah, blah, blah. In addition, evidence shows respondent, he asserted that he did not receive notice of these proceedings, but in his written statement, he admitted that he remembers receiving citations that he chose not to follow up on. The respondent's lack of diligence in following up on his traffic court is what we're talking about. Case indicates that he cannot be trusted to appear in immigration court. In light of these findings, the court concluded that no bond was appropriate and that the order was April 24, 2019. Respondent reserves rights to appeal. That's all that Pam Bondi released. It's basically all the same things we already know, and they just keep citing the things before. Now, somebody sent me an email from Newsmax with this fucking wild-ass claim. It says, federal former prosecutor Francie Hakes told Newsmax on Tuesday that the liberals, I know it's going to be good when they start with the liberals, that liberals' insistence that an illegal immigrant from El Salvador living in Maryland didn't receive due process is a complete lie. Hakes joined the record with Greta Van Susteren to wait in the complicated case of Kilmer Abrego Garcia, who was sent to a maximum security prison in El Salvador by the Trump administration. The White House arrest asserts that he's a member of the criminal gang MS-13, which President Donald Trump has designated a foreign terrorist organization. I mean, the first thing to remember is that he is in the country illegally, and if you have crossed the border illegally, you are deportable by definition, Haig said, noting that alone didn't land Abrego Garcia in the Terrorism Confinement Center, CCOT, a maximum security prison. It is what followed that he admitted to being a gang member, she said. That he admitted to being a gang member. Now, this is supposedly a former federal prosecutor that isn't just doing this for Newsmax and Trump. He admitted to being a gang member. Let's see how they get there. When he was arrested or picked up in 2019, he had an immigration hearing. Lots of people are yelling online and television that he hasn't received due process, and that is a complete lie because he did get due process to which legal aliens are entitled. And at that hearing, the judge found that the evidence presented by DHS was credible and that he was a member of MS-13, which also made him deportable. Now, after that, he got an appeal. So that's the second bit of due process that he got. He got appellate level. Judge panel to look at his case and to agree with the initial federal judge who found that he was deportable. Now, when he went to court, the judge, however, had some sympathy for his claim that if he were sent back to El Salvador, he might face violence from a rival gang. Now, what I've read, Greta, suggests that what that means is, if he's worried about violence from a rival gang in El Salvador, that he's effectively admitting he's part of a gang himself. This is a complete fucking lie. This is not the claim he made. The claim he made that's been verified, that the judge agreed with, was that his family owned a food business. In this town, the local gang came and started extorting them for money for protection. It's called a protection racket. They say, hey, we're going to fuck with everybody in this town. But if you pay us whatever, we won't fuck with you. And people say, okay, they pay them. Then a lot of times they'll raise those fees, right? And you're expected to protect them and keep paying. His parents didn't want to pay for protection. So the gang said, okay, well, you've got 3 kids, don't you? How about we kill your fucking kids? At that time, he was 16. And when his parents heard that the gang was threatening to kill their kids, the kids fled. Just admitting that you need protection from a gang does not mean that you're in the rival gang or you're in a gang at all. That's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard. But this former federal prosecutor, allegedly, she's not trying to get political. She's not trying to suck Trump's dick. She just says, oh, he admitted he was in a gang because he said he needed protection from a gang. So I don't know who this bitch is, but she's dumb as fuck. She is dumb as fuck. So let's go back to the press conference because the Trump administration is claiming that they won the 9-0 order from the Supreme Court, even though they lost on all accounts except the deadline expired. And the court said, okay, the deadline is expired. And the court said, could you please explain what effectuate means? But they're claiming they won it. So here we go. With Carolyn Leavitt, Joe Biden, the worst president in U.S. history. And we have Donald Trump, the only person in the lobby of his own hotel that would help Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 2.
Good afternoon, everybody. I apologize for my tardiness, but I came directly from the Oval. I have some newsy updates to share from the president, which I know you all very much value and appreciate. So let's get to it. The president...
I don't think you're tardy. I think you're just like a dumb Christian nationalist.
Promised millions of Christians across the country on the campaign trail that he would create a White House faith office when he returned to the White House, and he has delivered on that promise. The White House faith office has put together an extraordinary week-long celebration currently underway for Holy Week ahead of Easter Sunday.
Why the fuck would we need a White House faith office? The fuck do they do? Why do we need them? This bitch speaks in tongues. I understand that, but why?
The president signed a Holy Week proclamation, filmed a special presidential video message, and will be hosting a pre-Easter dinner tomorrow night and a White House staff Easter worship service on Thursday. The president and the First Lady are honored to continue the tradition of the White House Easter egg roll, which will take place on the South Lawn next Monday. In other news,
somebody said they're using like 10,000 fucking eggs or some shit.
Manufacturing superpower again. Yesterday, there was a monumental announcement by NVIDIA, one of the largest companies in the world. This is just the latest example. For the first time ever, chip-making giant NVIDIA will produce AI supercomputers entirely in the United States as part of its pledge to produce $50 billion worth of AI infrastructure in our country over the next 4 years. With their manufacturing partners, they have commissioned more than 1 million square feet of manufacturing space to build and test NVIDIA Blackwell chips in the great state of Arizona and AI supercomputers in the great state of Texas. NVIDIA's founder and CEO Jensen Huang touted how the engines of the world's AI infrastructure are being built in the United States.
I do like NVIDIA as a company.
For the first time. This is the Trump effect. This follows trillions in other U.S. investments announced already, including $500 billion from Apple and U.S.-based manufacturing.
I like AMD better, but
$100 billion from TSMC and U.S.-based chips manufacturing, and the $500 billion private investment led by OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank in artificial intelligence infrastructure. Under President Trump, we're going to produce the cars, the ships, the chips, the airplanes, minerals, and medicines that we need right here in America at the hands of American workers. On the border, President Trump continues to break records and protect our homeland. According to CBP, Border Patrol apprehensions along the southwest border for the entire month of March 2025 were lower than the first 2 days of March 2024 under Joe Biden. Incredible law enforcement officers are arresting violent illegal aliens from American communities every day. Here are a few examples from the latest ICE report, which I received this morning. ICE Los Angeles arrested a 54-year-old citizen of Mexico convicted of rape by threat, sodomy with a person under 14 years, and kidnapping in San Jose, California. ICE Houston has arrested a
get those people out of here.
23-year-old citizen of Mexico convicted of predatory criminal sexual.
They act like people on the left will be like, oh, he just raped some people and you know hit somebody in the head with a brick and tried to abduct a teenager. Yeah, let's let him stay. Like, no, get those people out of here.
Assault of a child in Cook County, Illinois. ICE Houston arrested a 64-year-old citizen of Honduras convicted of murder in Los Angeles County, California. ICE Chicago arrested a 49-year-old citizen of Guatemala convicted of assault and arson in Prince Williams, Virginia, not far from here. ICE Denver arrested a 36-year-old citizen of Mexico who is registered as a sex offender and has been convicted of sexual assault of a child in Lake County, Colorado. ICE Baltimore arrested a 50-year-old citizen of China convicted of sex trafficking in Bel Air, Maryland. And ICE Boston arrested a 46-year-old citizen of Jamaica convicted of 3 counts of rape of a child and 2 counts of indecent assault and battery of a child under 14.
There's a big difference between convicted and the government claims.
In Boston, Massachusetts. President Trump and our administration will not rest until every single violent illegal alien is removed from our country.
By the way, I couldn't believe this when I read this, okay? I want to paint a picture for you. Donald Trump wants to give relief to farm workers and hotels, anybody that would have a lot of illegal immigrants. Now, people have been arguing this from the get-go, right? This is going to kill like farm workers and shit like this, right? The obvious plan there is to have these people come forward without being terrified. If they have a good work history, they're not committing crimes, they're not doing anything, put them immediately on a path to citizenship. Make sure they can't be deported. But in order, it says you can't be deported unless you violate and you don't commit a crime or something. And we're going to put you, and if you do these steps in a year, in 18 months, in 6 months, whatever the timeline is, you will be a full-fledged U.S. citizen. Keep your nose clean. Keep working. If you leave your job, you got to report it to us immediately. If you move, if you violate any of these things or get arrested, you're out. Obviously, that's the way to handle that. Trump's idea of how to handle this is that your employer who's hiring you, and you got illegal aliens employed at your farm, you write a letter to the federal government that says, hey, I've got these 9 illegal aliens that work for me. Here are their names. They are really good. They're good workers. I like them a lot. I need them for my farm. Trump's administration takes that into consideration. Then they deport all of your illegal workers. All of them. They send them all to wherever the fuck they came from. But when they come back, they'll have a slightly easier time getting back in because you wrote a letter that said they were good guys. How feasible does that plan sound? why the fuck would you deport them and tell them to come immediately back and like it's going to be better? It just sounds, first of all, they're not going to come forward because they know they're getting deported. Second of all, you expect them to trust you. They're like, we're deporting you back to the fucking hell that you came from. Hope you don't die. And if you can make it back here again, maybe we'll give you some preferential treatment. That's a legit plan from Trump. The guy's a fucking retard, right?
The safety of the American people is too important to settle for anything less. On that note, the Democrat and media outrage over the deportation of Abrego Garcia, an MS-13 El Salvadorian illegal alien criminal who is hiding in Maryland, has been nothing short of despicable. Based on the sensationalism of many of the people in this room, you would think we deported a candidate for Father of the Year. That's because, unfortunately, many in this country care more about this quote-unquote Maryland father, a legal alien MS-13 gang member, than a Maryland mother and an American citizen who was brutally murdered at the hands of a different illegal alien. Of course, I am referring to...
Listen how fucked up this is. So they say Abrego Garcia, who's a gang member and not Father of the Year and an El Salvadoran, got sent here without any due process. But what about this mother who her daughter died from a completely different immigrant from a completely different place? What disgusting motherfuckers. So Trump said at a meeting with reporters present, we have to take care of our farmers, the hotels, and, the various places where they tend to need people. So a farmer will come in with a letter concerning certain people saying they're great, they're working hard. We're going to slow it down a little bit for them, and then we're going to ultimately bring them back. They'll go out to where they live, then they're going to come back as legal workers. What? Trump said the administration is going to work with the people if they go out in a nice way. If they get deported nicely, we'll work with them if they ever come back. We're going to work with them right from the beginning, trying to get them back in legally. So it gives you real incentive. No, incentive would be a path to citizenship. The only way you're going to get these people to come forward is if you tell them, look, if you don't have a criminal record, if you've been working and you're not committing crimes, let's say you've been in the same place for 5 years or whatever, come forward. We will help you. We will help you become legal citizens. We're not going to send you back and make you, fucking walk across the desert for 6 months again, die on the way and get attacked by gangs and drug smugglers. Telling them like, hey, Be nice when we deport you and maybe you can come back is bullshit.
To Rachel Morin. And if you didn't see...
By the way, this has nothing to do with the guy we're talking about that got ripped from his family and deported over nothing than an informant against a court's order that he could not be deported.
Yesterday, a Maryland jury found illegal alien Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez guilty of murdering Rachel Morin in August of 2023. She was a 37-year-old mother of 5 who Northeast Hernandez guilty of murdering Rachel Morin into Rachel Morin. The year. That's because, unfortunately, many in this country care more about this quote-unquote Maryland father, a legal alien MS-13 gang member, than a Maryland mother and an American citizen who was brutally murdered at the hands of a different illegal alien. Of course, I am referring to Rachel Morin. And if you didn't see yesterday, a Maryland jury found illegal alien Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez guilty of murdering Rachel Morin in August of 2023. She was a 37-year-old mother of 5 who was jogging in an otherwise safe community northeast of Baltimore when this monster ambushed, strangled, and beat her to death before stuffing her brutalized body in a tunnel drain.
That sounds horrible. And no one's arguing that guy shouldn't be deported or go to prison or whatever. He should face whatever penalty he's up against. But we're not talking about that guy. We're talking about the guy that had a specific order he could not be sent back to El Salvador. And not only did you send him to El Salvador, you put him in prison just because. They're not even charged with a crime. They're just sent to a terrorist maximum security prison just because.
Moore and family finally got justice yesterday, but they will never get Rachel back. Our hearts go out to Rachel's family, her 5 children, and her mother, Patty, who has suffered the unimaginable loss of her daughter. In case you missed it last week, President Trump signed a national security presidential memorandum directing federal agencies administering federal land on the border to make land available to the Defense Department in a new national defense area. This followed the president's day 1 executive order committing his administration to marshal all available resources and authorities to stop the unprecedented flood of illegal aliens into our country and to obtain complete operational control of the borders of the United States of America. Once again, the president is fulfilling another key promise. This new national defense area spans more than 170 miles across our border in New Mexico, but in the coming weeks, this administration will add more than 90 miles in the state of Texas. This national defense area will enhance our ability to detect, interdict, and prosecute the illegal aliens, criminal gangs, and terrorists who are able to invade our country without consequence for the past 4 years under the Biden administration. It will also bolster our defenses against fentanyl and other dangerous narcotics that have been poisoning our communities. With all of this work being done to make America great again, we continue to see a positive response from the American public. A brand new poll published from the Daily Mail and JL Partners this morning found that President Trump's approval rating is at an all-time high. That's because the president is working tirelessly to keep his promises to the American.
That's not an all-time high. But whatever.
As I just saw him doing today in the Oval Office. We have a reporter in our new media seat today, Matthew Foldy. I like your boots, Matt. Who is the editor-in-chief of the Washington Reporter. Washington Reporter is a new, fast-growing outlet that breaks stories about legislation and interviews leaders in Congress and across the administration. The publication's readership includes the highest levels of business and government. And with that, please kick us off, Matt.
And we've interviewed you as well. So, Caroline, thanks so much for having me here on behalf of our readership and the millions of Americans who I think appreciate what you're doing with the new media seat here, making this a more accessible briefing room. I'm curious with
So the Washington Reporter on the MediaBiasFactCheck.com is as extreme right as you can possibly get. Look at this yellow dot. You cannot get more rights. You cannot get more rights than this. Whatever.
Harvard, we saw the Trump administration today announce it's cutting around $2 billion, or freezing $2 billion in funds to Harvard because the campus has serious problems with violence and with anti-Semitism. We saw former President Obama, side with Harvard, which rejected the Trump administration's demands. I'm curious, where does the administration see this going with Harvard and with other colleges and universities in America that are refusing to reform in wake of the sort of craziness that we've seen take over some of them?
Thank you, Matt, for being here, and thanks for the question. When it comes to Harvard, the president's position on this is grounded in common sense, in the basic principle that Jewish American students, or students of any faith, should not...
It's wild that they're like, you can't question us because this other person was killed by an immigrant.
Be illegally harassed and targeted on our nation's college campuses. And we unfortunately saw that illegal discrimination take place on the campus of Harvard. There are countless examples to prove it, particularly with the stunning confession by then Harvard President Claudine...
Look, I'm all for bringing in like podcasters and people, but they have like, you can't bring in Alex Jones in there, right? You can't bring the far right or the far left in there and give them a fucking seat at the table.
Gay, who said that bullying and harassment depended on the context. The president at that time made it clear to the American public he was not going to tolerate illegal harassment and anti-Semitism taking place in violations of federal law. So the president made it clear to Harvard, follow federal law, no longer break Title VI, which was passed by Congress to ensure no student can be discriminated against on the basis of race, and you will receive federal funding. Unfortunately, Harvard has not taken the president or the administration's demands seriously. All the president is asking, don't break federal law, and then you can have your federal funding. I think the president is also begging a good question. More than $2 billion out the door to Harvard when they have a more than $50 billion endowment. Why are the American taxpayers subsidizing a university that has billions of dollars in the bank already? And we certainly should not be funding a place where such grave anti-Semitism exists.
I'm curious, you just mentioned Rachel Moore, and I'm a Maryland man, and I think most Marylanders appreciate what you were saying today. We've seen that Chris Van Hollen, who was Rachel Moore and senator, basically threatening to fly to El Salvador to press for the release of someone who was in America.
So the senator did fly to El Salvador. When he got there, he wasn't allowed in CCOT. He wasn't allowed to speak with the president of El Salvador. He got to speak with the vice president. When he asked the vice president, can I see Garcia at CCOT, they told him no, because he didn't give them adequate heads up, right? You didn't tell us soon enough that that's what you wanted to do. So he immediately said, okay, well, how about next week? Right? That's giving them adequate time and planning or what. I'll come back next week. Can I come see him next week? A week from today. They said, no, we can't make any promises. Then he said, well, why are you did he commit a crime here? He didn't commit a crime in the United States. Why are you keeping him? And the vice president plainly said that it's because President Trump is paying us to keep him.
Illegally. And not as much sort of from him about Rachel Morin's horrific murder and the verdict that was, I think, rightly reached yesterday. What does the administration think about the priorities we're seeing from Senate Democrats in terms of illegal immigrants instead of the work that agencies like ICE and DHS are doing in the Trump administration?
It's mind-boggling, the priorities of the modern-day Democrat Party. I think it's atrocious that you have Democrats in Congress on Capitol Hill who swear an oath to protect their constituents and to serve them in Washington, D.C., spending more time defending illegal immigrant gang members than their own constituents and law-abiding American citizens like Rachel Morin. And I saw the president personally on the campaign trail, and I continue to see him.
Do we really want to set the precedent that anybody can say so-and-so is a gang member and it just is true?
In his role as president of the United States, put American families first, reach out to the victims, the families of victims at the hands of illegal immigrant crime. And frankly, the actions and the words of the Democrat Party prove they could not care less about the American public. And maybe if they did, they'd see a bit higher approval ratings right now. Thanks for being here with us today. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. To follow up on something that you just said, why do Ivy League schools get so much federal funding?
It's a very good question. And it's a question the president has obviously raised in his discussions and negotiations with not just Harvard, but also Columbia and many other Ivy League institutions. We have the Anti-Semitism Task Force, which the president promised and delivered on. The Anti-Semitism task forces across the government, representatives from various federal agencies who meet on a weekly basis to discuss the question that you just raised. And I think a lot of Americans are wondering why their tax dollars are going to these universities when they are not only indoctrinating our nation's students, but also allowing such egregious illegal behavior to occur.
To follow up on immigration, deporting American citizens to Central American prisons, is it legal, or do you need to change the law to do it?
Well, it's another question that the president has raised. It's a legal question that the president is looking into. And he talked about this yesterday with his meeting with President Bukele in the Oval Office. He would only consider this, if legal, for Americans who are the most violent, egregious, repeat offenders of crime who nobody in this room wants living in their communities.
And then there's this CHNB thing. President Biden let more than 530,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela into the U.S. with this CHNB program. He did it with the stroke of a pen. And now a judge will not let President Trump undo it with the stroke of a pen. So are you guys going to give all 530,000 plus people individual deportation hearings, or are you just going to try to deport them?
I spoke to White House counsel's office about this morning because obviously another rogue district court judge is trying to block the administration's mass deportation efforts with this latest injunction. We will fight this in the court of law, and we will ensure that every individual who illegally entered our country and was really taken advantage of by the previous administration because they abused the parole system in this country to fast track legal status, as they said, for these illegal immigrants. And they completely abused our legal system. Many of these paroled individuals were then given temporary protected status, which the intention of that TPS was only
So if they've got temporary protection status, just go to court and prove that they don't deserve it. Boom, done. Right?
supposed to be used in times of war or storm or destruction in the home countries of these migrants. It was
yes. If they don't have due process, you don't have due process. There is a scenario where you get pulled over. I get pulled over. They see my tattoos, they see I have darker skin and black hair, and they call me an illegal immigrant, throw me in a car, put me in a jail cell, don't tell my family or a lawyer or the court or the anybody where I'm at or what I'm doing, and I get deported to a foreign fucking prison. When would I have time to tell them, hey, I'm an American citizen? Well, no one's going to give a fuck without due process. I'm not going to get to see a judge. I'm not going to get to talk to anybody. I'm not going to get who am I going to tell? There's nobody to tell. If everybody doesn't have due process, nobody has due process. The Supreme Court even said it. In the opinion, the government's argument, moreover, implies that it could deport and incarcerate any person, including U.S. citizens, without legal consequences, so long as it does so before a court can intervene. Not even U.S.-born citizens are safe if we're going to allow this to stand. They don't have to prove you're here illegally. They don't have to prove you're a member of a gang. They don't have to prove you committed a crime. They don't have to prove nothing. And not only are they deported, they're being put in a prison. On what charge? No charge. Just get out of our country and go to prison somewhere. That's wild.
completely abused. These migrants came here for economic reasons, and they illegally entered our country, and the president is not going to tolerate that. And so we will continue to focus on deporting as many individuals as we can. Jennifer.
One on tariffs and one on Russia. Can you give us any sort of an update on which deals are in hand or are close, which countries are reaching a deal on tariffs? And then on Russia, can you give us an update on what the agreement was with Russia? The president yesterday said that he thinks we'll be seeing some very good deals very soon. Can you talk a little bit about what Russia agreed to?
Sure. I don't want to get ahead of our United States Trade Ambassador and Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Treasury, all the great individuals who are working incredibly hard to cut these good trade deals, and the president's deeply involved.
I heard 903 Gaming is a member of a gang of the 903 Gaming with Tiny Pecker's gang.
This as well.
He's the leader, actually.
Clear to his trade team, he wants to personally sign off on all of these deals too, and so I don't want to get ahead of them on announcements. But obviously, as you've heard from numerous administration officials, there have been many talks with countries. We've had more than 15 deals, pieces of paper put on the table.
I don't think that people know that these immigration judges, radical immigration judges who said they couldn't be deported back to El Salvador, they're part of the executive branch, not the judicial branch. The immigration judges are part of the executive branch under the president.
Proposals that are actively being considered, and as we've said consistently, more than 75 countries have reached out. So there's a lot of work to do. We very much understand that, but we do believe that we can announce some deals very soon.
And then on Russia, can you say, did Russia agree to anything with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff?
I don't want to get ahead of those negotiations as well. What I can tell you is that they were a productive conversation was had. As the presidential envoy Steve Witkoff said last night, he believes that Russia wants to end this war, and the president believes that as well. There is incentive for Russia to end this war, and perhaps that could be economic partnerships with the United States, but we need to see a ceasefire first, and the president and the presidential envoy Witkoff made that very clear to the Russians. Okay.
Everybody's made that clear.
I also want to thank your press office for releasing that information that you cited up there regarding the ICE arrests over the last couple of days. And I have them right here, but what I might ask is, why not release the same information for those who were deported to El Salvador?
Well, first of all, the information was released by...
Right. Why was that first group of planes that were deported to El Salvador, why can't we even get their fucking names? The only reason that we know about these people is because their families identified them from press coverage. We don't even know who they were, what they did, what they're accused of. 75% of them had no criminal record whatsoever.
By the Department of Homeland Security. The individuals on the flights to El Salvador are foreign terrorists, and those are counterterrorism operations. They are much different than the arrests and final order of removals that you see on a daily
basis
that law enforcement
counterterrorism.
Country.
That information was not, to that detail, was not released by DHS.
I just told you the reason. It was a counterterrorism operation, a deportation of foreign terrorists, not illegal criminals who have been
Even when foreign terrorists are found in our country, we get their names.
Convicted of heinous crimes living in our American communities. Two different things. Foreign terrorist, illegal immigrant criminal, two different things, two different definitions. You should look them up. Christian, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline.
That's how he's getting away with it. Get them the fuck out of here because they're quote unquote terrorists before a judge can stop you.
President support raising the corporate tax rate to pay for all these other tax cuts he wants to see move through Congress?
Hell no.
Idea proposed. I've heard this idea discussed, but I don't believe the president has made a determination on whether he supports it or not.
And then secondly, do you have any information on the status of Eden Alexander? Hamas says they lost contact with the unit guarding him following an Israeli airstrike earlier today.
I don't have updates. I have not seen that report, but I can certainly check in with our National Security Council. I have spoken to the president about Eden Alexander, and he's made it very clear to our national security team that finding him is a priority, but unfortunately I don't have any updates to share. But it's a very important matter, and certainly we can check in. Sure.
Hi. How concerned is the president that a federal judge could hold a Trump administration official in contempt of court for defying deportation orders?
We are complying with all court orders. So I see what you're trying to do there with that question, but we're very confident that every action taken by this administration is within the confines of the law, and we continue to comply with the court's orders. And you have seen...
By the way, a judge's verbal ruling is just as sound as his written order. You're not going to get away with arguing that in any court in the United States.
That, and the president made that clear yesterday in the Oval Office with President Bukele. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. Could you, just going back to El Salvador, could you just explain to us a little bit more about the legal basis on which you may be able to send U.S. citizens to prison there? I know you said President Trump is looking at it, but can you explain to us a little bit more about how that might be possible?
There you go. U.S. citizens.
We're looking at it, and when I have more for you to share, I certainly will. Sure.
Still going off the El Salvador questions. Yesterday in the Oval Office, administration officials made it very clear that you to share, I certainly will.
I know you said President Trump is looking at it, but can you explain?
He's looking at sending U.S. citizens there to seek out.
A little bit more about how that might be possible.
We're looking at it, and when I have more for you to share, I certainly will. Sure.
Still going off the El Salvador questions. Yesterday in the Oval Office, administration officials made it very clear that El Salvador is responsible for Mr. Rodrigo Garcia. Yet El Salvador's president said we're not going to do anything with him. So my question is, who is responsible for this man and where he's going to end up?
Well, no. First of all, President Bukele said that he is not going to smuggle a foreign terrorist back into the United States of America, as many in this room in the Democrat Party seemingly want him to do. Rodrigo Garcia was a foreign terrorist. He is an MS-13 gang member. He was engaged in human trafficking. He illegally came into our country.
Human trafficking? How you figure?
And so deporting him back to
He trafficked himself here.
El Salvador was always going to be the end result. There is never going to be a world in which this is an individual who's going to live a peaceful life in Maryland because he is
Except a judge said you cannot deport him back to El Salvador. You just ignored that, didn't you?
a foreign terrorist and an MS-13 gang member. Not only have we confirmed that, President Bukele yesterday in the Oval Office confirmed that as well. So he went back to his home country where he will face consequences for his gang affiliation and his engagement in human trafficking. I'm not sure what is so difficult about this for everyone.
His engagement. What? Human trafficking? Where? There's no allegation. It's the first time ever anybody's called him a human trafficker.
Everyone in the media to understand, and it's appalling, truly appalling, that there has been so much time covering this alleged human trafficker and this gang member, MS-13 gang member.
Alleged.
It's truly striking to me. Karen.
Thank you, Caroline. The president was posting on Truth Social today about helping American farmers. And last week in his cabinet meeting, he was talking about a plan to work with farmers to retain workers who...
Here's his ridiculous plan. Go home, but come back as soon as you can. Love you, bye.
Illegally, provided that they leave and then come back through what he said would be a legal process. Can you give details on what that would look like? How many workers he's talking about, how long a plan like that would take to implement, and the timeline for more details on getting this actually to implementation?
I can check in with our immigration and our policy team and get you some more details on that, Karen.
And is this something he wants to roll out soon? I mean, he was talking back and forth with Secretary Rollins.
Right.
This is kind of imminent that he wants to do this.
Yeah, look, the president is in constant communication with all of his cabinet secretaries, particularly Secretary Rollins, who has the backs of American farmers and ranchers. It's something that he spoke about with her in the front of all the cameras in the cabinet room.
This has got to be the most
USDA and
or unqualified fucking cabinet ever in history.
Get you an answer.
It's just people I like that I seen on TV one time.
Hi, it's good to see you in here.
The president has long said that it would be an abuse of power for a president to direct prosecutors to investigate him. Last week, President Trump explicitly directed the Justice Department to scrutinize Chris Krebs to see if it can find any evidence of criminal wrongdoing. How is that not an abuse of power to direct the Justice Department to look into an individual, a named individual?
Look, the president signed that executive order. It's a position of the president in this White House that is well within his authority to do it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed it. And he signed it, and that's his policy. Jeff.
Because he's a fucking hypocrite. He said it would be incredibly illegal for the president to direct the Department of Justice to investigate him. But then says, I'm going to sign an executive order having the Justice Department investigate this other guy.
A follow-up on Harvard. The president floated on Truth Social, I believe, the possibility of removing tax-exempt status. How serious is that threat, and other universities he's considering? And then a follow-up question on foreign policy. Can you give us an update on what the president hopes to come from the next round of talks with Iran?
Sure.
Chris Krebs.
As I said, the president has been quite clear. They must follow federal law. He also wants to see Harvard apologize, and Harvard should apologize for the egregious anti-Semitism.
How fucking backwards is it that the president wants to withhold funds until you come apologize at his feet? Chris Krebs was the director of CISA, Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency or whatever. Remember they come out and said, the election was fine. It wasn't stolen. We had no discrepancies. It was the safest election we've had in years. In 2020, that's why he wants them investigated.
That took place on their college campus against Jewish American students. There were professors who said that he had engaged in discriminatory behavior against Jewish students. Of course, you had the former president of the university saying bullying and harassment depends on the context. You also had an encampment on Harvard Yard that we all saw play out before the cameras. The university failed to impose formal discipline on any students for this anti-Semitic conduct violations, including the occupation of a campus building and the disruption of classes with bullhorns. The president believes Harvard should apologize.
Shouldn't that be their choice, though? I understand that some of the protests went too far, but isn't that their choice? Like when they enforce, what they enforce, how they discipline, what they decide, or are we banning them or giving them a suspension or trespassing them?
To its Jewish American students for
No, they need to come apologize to President Trump for being mean to Israel. That's what we want to see.
Such egregious behavior. As for the tax-exempt status, I would refer you to the IRS for any updates. I do want to answer your question on Iran. Of course, the maximum pressure campaign on Iran continues, but as you know, the president has made it clear he wants to see dialogue and discussion with Iran while making his directive about Iran never being able to obtain a nuclear weapon quite clear. And the president spoke to the Sultan of Oman today, who helped facilitate these talks. I have a readout for all of you. He held a call with the Sultan of Oman today, and he thanked him for hosting the first direct meeting between the United States and Iran and emphasized the need for Iran to end its nuclear program through negotiations.
I'm glad Harvard's standing up to Trump. I think that it's widely overrated and charges too much, makes too much money. I generally believe that about all private education, right? There needs to be some fucking common sense comes there where even working adults could go to school, right? You don't need to finance a fucking house to go to school. But I'm glad they stood up to him. And they said, no government, regardless of which party's in power, should dictate what private universities can teach or do or say or protest or whatever.
Also discussed the United States' ongoing operations against the Houthis and emphasized that the Houthis will pay a severe price until they end their attacks on maritime traffic in the Red Sea. As you know, an additional negotiation between Steve Witkoff and Iran's representative has been scheduled for Saturday. And since these are ongoing negotiations, I have nothing more to add on that.
Thank you, Iran.
Sure.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. When you said that the president said that Iran will never have nuclear weapon, is the focus on dismantling the entire nuclear program, or just restricting enriched uranium or the missile program?
The president does not want to see Iran have a nuclear program. He does not want Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. He's been very clear about this. Shelby.
Yeah, but there's enrichment for power plants and there's enrichment for weapons. You didn't answer the question.
Shelby, you have a seat today.
I know, stole it.
Glad to see it.
Two quick ones on TikTok. First, is the president expecting to extend the TikTok ban that's now June 19th if China doesn't come to the table in time?
Well, June 19th is a long ways away, obviously. I think it's 2 months away. 2 months is a long time in the Trump administration, as you have all seen. We work at Trump speed around here. We get a lot done, so definitely don't want to get ahead. The vice president continues to lead these negotiations and talks. The president's involved and they're ongoing.
And then the president previously said he'd consider reducing tariffs on China in order to get a TikTok deal done. Is that option still on the table?
Look, the president has made his position on China quite clear, although I do have an additional statement that he just shared with me in the Oval Office. The ball is in China's court. China needs to make a deal with us. We don't have to make a deal with them. There's no difference between China.
All right, I can't stand this dumb bitch anymore. I'm out.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So we can't even go after them because they were pardoned.
Right.
No, we're dealing with very corrupt people.
Trump complains we can't even go after Liv Cheney and Adam Kinzinger because Biden pardoned them.
A lot of corrupt people in our government. With very corrupt people. We have a lot of corrupt people in our government.
Doesn't he wish he could go after them?
That's it.
Yeah.
So we can't even go after them because they were pardoned.
Right.
No, we're dealing with very corrupt people. We have a lot of corrupt people in our government.
Do you think the goal is to drive people to the point of fucking Viva la Revolution so they can fucking swat it down and even have more control and be the victims in the situation? I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll be back earlier tomorrow. We got some work going on at the campground this week, but I'll be here tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Please consider supporting the show. We're at a pretty tough financial time, show-wise. So if you can, support the show at coldbeer.fund. There's tons of ways to donate. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the donation I got last night. I saw that. I appreciate it. Keep the show on the air. It's cheaper than cable. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. I think covering all these negative stories, everybody leaves with a fucking negative thoughts, and that affects show support. But I can't make the news.
By name and tell them
I just watch it so you don't have to.
tell them the rest of the world.
Ain't that right?
You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshiping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the...
Still fighting the good fight with the VA. I think I'm about to turn it over to a lawyer. I just had to pay a third-party firm to handle everything, and it'll cost me money. Some of them you pay up front, some of them it comes out of your back pay or whatever, but I'm just so aggravated with the whole situation, ready to give up, but that's not the answer. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us tonight.
that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump